Let's see. So I think if you want to run that, you have to save a copy probably. Okay, that actually is my customer question. Okay, so now if you want to run this, you just click run all, it actually will just run everything. And that's really the advantage of coding versus the interactive. If it's point and click, you have to point and click everything again to run something. But since we have everything written down, even though we haven't go through the material, we can actually just run everything on this Colab, which is offered by Google for free, with some limited, with some string attached. So what we are using is called the notebook. It's actually Jupyter notebook, but this is a notebook. This is material apparently I modified from this person. Look like the French or something. So this notebook, there's also a table of content. So that 3 horizontal bar, that's the table of content. Finally, we can also type a math equation. There's also a file, search. And so on the table of content, we will see the welcome Python acknowledgement. The Python part is the basic material we are going to go through. Basic operation, data type, list, string, conditional, loop and function, some very basic Python syntax. One thing about the notebook, you see on the menu, there is a plus code plus text. That means there are 2 types of cell in the notebook. Like if I click code, there's 1 cell, but the code you see there's a play button next to it. If I click text, it's just text window. There's nothing. This is a text cell or section. And if you look on the side, you see this is how text window. If it's a code, you have to say 1 + 1, you see there's a play button. I click play button 2, it actually runs. So this is actually the basic structure of the notebook. So there's a code which is executable. There are also tags where we can write as a comment or explanation. And the Colab is just a free cloud environment for us to run Python code. So we don't have to install that on our own computer. It also have another advantage because many schools provide Chromebook, and the Chromebook is also supported by Google. So Google Colab runs well on the Chromebook using the web browser too. So that's another advantage I realized it can be maybe helpful for the K-12 to write Python code. Good. But its notebook also means it's interactive. Means here I type a code, I can run it. But if I don't like it 1 + 1, I can say 1 plus 4. I run it again. Now I have a different result. So this is also not a static web page. It's not web pages. There are some web page people write HTML, go there, it doesn't change. But this is actually, we can run code, have different result. So Okay, so my question is, so my current question, have you been able to click plus code and add a cell to write 1+1? And okay, that's my, so I'm going to ask this question and see how many people can do that. So, and so the question is this: have you been able? I guess you can just say yes or no for the questions. Okay. Okay. So there are a few no. I'm going to go over this again. So once you open the code, oh, I know. If you cannot change, you need to save a copy on your Google Drive. Once you save a copy, you should have no problem to change it. Because right now, I wrote it. You may or may not have the right to change it. So if you want to, okay, if you cannot change it, save a copy on your own Google Drive and then try to change it. My apology, I forgot this step. So basically, if you cannot change the code, save a copy, click File, save a copy in Drive. That will be your own Google Drive, and then you should be able to change it. Okay, so I'm going to. This is multiple choice. Oh no. Okay, now I'm going to let. If those people still have trouble, no, you can maybe even if yes is okay. Okay, if people need help, now the issue is I don't have a TA here, but I can create the breakout room so people really need help can go to the breakout room. And then I think some of you probably know how to do it, can also go to the breakout room and then help that person. Okay, but where, for some reason I don't see the breakout room, but feature enabled. Oh, I see it, okay. So I'm going to create a few breakout room, maybe just 2, or maybe 3. So if someone really need help, you can go to a breakout room. Yeah, I think I already got the volunteer say someone, yeah. So okay, I create a breakout room, but if, yeah, just in case. So for now, I'm going to move on since, okay. So now we are going to go over just based on the table of content. So Python is just like a very simple, can be used as just a calculator. For example, here we say how many seconds in a day. For those are really, for some math teachers, they probably can do this in a second. So 24 hours times 60 minutes times 60 seconds. I cannot do that mentally myself, sorry. But apparently Python can do that. Tell us is 86,400 seconds. So So that's the play. We click that play button and it runs. So my next question will be, have you been able to click the play button and the run code? So this is the question I'm asking now. Oh, someone still says the school. In that case, you may, I think it's when you go to the browser, by default, you are in your, what, there's a Google account at the top. You need to switch that back into your personal Gmail account.
Yeah, I have, and it's in the right one. But then when I pop onto the next screen, it just reverts back, and I can't figure it out. And I don't want to hold up the lesson on this issue. So you just keep teaching, and if I can figure it out, I can. If I can't, I can't.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay. My apologies for. I
I
guess.
had the-
Yes,
I'm
fine.
sorry.
Yeah,
I had that
thanks for
same
letting me know.
problem. I had that same problem on my school laptop, and that's why I'm doing Zoom right now on the school laptop, and I borrowed my daughter's laptop to be able to do collab, because I played around with it last night, even with her help, and we couldn't figure out how to make it work on the HCDE laptop, and I'm guessing they just have it blocked. I don't know.
Okay.
That was my only solution to change machines.
I see. Oh, I see. So you all have the school issue laptop. Somehow many of the features probably bonded
I'm
with
on
the.
both my own, so I'm not on my school laptop, either one. So
Okay.
I don't know, but you keep going, because this would just clog us down.
Okay, okay, but I'm also recording this. We can during the lunch break I can maybe talk with you more and try to figure the issue out. Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, so and so the one nice feature on the Colab is we can minimize then expand it. You probably use this in Microsoft Word document. You can minimize things and then expand. So in this to arithmetic operation, this is a section. There's a triangle next to it. If I click that triangle, it will expand the material of that section. So there, it actually shows the basic math operation: addition, multiplication, division. 2 star means power. And double backslash is actually integer division. You probably can ignore that integer division for now. So 1 plus 2, 3, 3 minus 1, that's just the subtraction. And that star is multiplication. That's probably the same symbol on the calculator too. Division and 2 to the third power, and 5 integer division by 2, that's 2. So this is basic arithmetic operation. Once we finish this, we can minimize it. Let's make it, we can actually look at a higher view of this. So, okay. Oh, by the way, if someone need help, there are people volunteer to say if you go to the breakout room, there are people will go to breakout room to try to help you sort it out. Okay, so now if we look at the arithmetic operation, what we are doing is just one it's just one number. It's not very helpful. That's not why computer is useful. Computer is useful because it operates on large amount of data. And human can do it 1 + 2, yeah. But what if we need to process someone say at the county or RS need to process the entire population of the state, and doing a manual calculation seems to be a little cumbersome. But that's where the advantage of computer is can process on a large number of data. So in computer science, that's something we call at the basic level we call the data structures or container. So in Python, one of them is called list. List. This is actually list seems to be a unique name in Python. In some other language like Java, MATLAB, we call it array or vector. But let's say list seems to be quite intuitive. We have a list of number, so that seems to be a very easy to understand. Right? So a list of well, this is an empty list. In Python, say my list. That's just nothing there. My underscore list. Now the tricky part in computer science, we cannot have name with white space in between. So my list, we have to put underscore. If we say my white space list, that will give us an error. Let's see. If I say my space list, you can actually see you already said the error there. There, it's just an error, invalid syntax. So I have to put, actually I can also not put a hyphen there. That's because that's the minus sign, right? So I have put an underscore that make it a one word. So in a way, computer is dumb. You have to, you have to just tell exactly in a way to understand. In our, I guess if in any case you tell my list is the name, kids can understand, but the computer cannot. It's just you have to tell it exactly in the syntax. It's good and bad. So computer, you had to say a language in a very strict way. So yeah, my underscore list, that's an empty list. But we can also add something else here. In this case, I'm saying my list 1, 2, 3. Now look at this. I also put a comma there. We cannot use other things. If I say 1, 2, 3, white space, what do you think this will happen? You can click run on your side. It's also going to say invalid syntax. So I put square bracket. I also had to put a comma. I cannot use semicolon either. That will also give me an error. Yeah, it's also not right. So basically, that's just a strict syntax. We have to tell computer to say this is a list of numbers 1, 2, 3. So, yeah. Are we? Okay, let me see. Okay, so the next question would be, how are we doing? Okay. So the question, I guess, answer 1. 1 means yes, 2 means no, 3 means slow down. Other. So that's the question. That's multiple choice question. The question is this. 1 is yes. 2, 1 means okay, I guess. No means not okay. One is yes, okay. Number 2, not okay. Okay. Oh, good. Thank you. So let's move. Okay. So once we have a list, we can modify it. So in this case, we can say append. We have my list is 1, 2, 3. Now, notice this, my list dot append smooth parenthesis 4. Now, this is actually, so Python is a so-called objective-oriented programming. So what this, you can treat my list as the object, or in this object is just a term in computer science. And this list actually has some property and features, or we call it a method or function. This append is a property or a behavior this list object has. Append basically, well, if we look at the append, 1, 2, 3, it basically added that number 4 at the end of that list. And that's actually called a function or method. That's actually in Python, it's the smooth parenthesis. And we put 4 there, you see the 4 is now at the end of that list. So we also use a dot. That's also a syntax in Python. So that dot is just say, this append is the function of my list. That's the object it has. And this object, we are going to call the append function of my list and add 4 there. In fact, I can have another list. I say, I'm going to say his list. List. My list is his list is -1, -2, -3. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to add a cell, says what? His list dot. Oh, you see, it actually, Colab automatically put that append there because it recognized that is a list. Append, what? -4, okay. So I run that part and then run this part. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I run his list append -4, what's the result? So I'm going to, so the question is, I'm going to need to find an empty question. Okay, so here's the, the question, if I run his list append -4, what will be the result? Okay, someone put the answer there. I'm going to, can another one? Okay, let's see. Very, I think the second one is probably correct, but I guess if you really want to look at the result, I had to print it. Let's. Yay. Oh, I run it twice. So if I run it again, you can put another 4. So yeah. So this is what you have to be really careful how many times you run the code. Every time I run it, going to add a 4. In fact, if I run this code 2 more times, 1, 2, it's going to have 2 more 4 there. So of course, if you work in a bank, this is not a good idea. Someone deposit $10, you run the code twice, so that you're going to deposit $20, $30. That doesn't sound like a good idea if you work in a bank, right? So right now we are not considered, but if you really want to make sure the code does exactly the same thing you want, we need to add something conditional check. Make sure the code only runs as it should be run. but right now, I'm going to say that can be an issue, but we are not going to address it. So, yeah. This is actually one of the common mistake people will make when they are using notebook to run code. This code won't be, this problem won't be an issue if it's not interactive. Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad that I actually made a mistake, but then it's actually shows this is the potential error people can make. So now once we have a list, we can do something called indexing. And this is actually a bit tricky. When people count things, we often count from the first one to the last one. And if you count how many students are in the classroom, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in Python, we actually count from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why we have that convention, but most of the computer language start from 0. So if I say my list is 0, guess what number it will give us? We get 1. It's because my list, yeah, even though it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the first one is actually in the 0th position. So my list square is the way called indexing. That's the indexing start from 0 in Python. That's also the case in in many other computer languages, Java, C, MATLAB. I'm pretty sure MATLAB, but some languages are not. R start from 1. So in Python for now, you just have to remember Python use 0 as the first one. So, but what if we want to pick multiple numbers, right? So the 0, if I say 0, number two actually should be 3. Oh, I shouldn't say number 2. Indexing 2 means it's the number 3. Indexing 2, so that would be 0, 1, 2. Indexing 2 is actually 3. So oh, someone getting a name error. Okay, so I'm going to Mr. Cooper, if you don't mind, can you share your screen? What kind of error you are getting? Mr. Philip Cooper, do you mind share your screen? Oh, thank you. My list 0. Oh, I know. Can you move your mouse up to the top? Click to run my list. You need to run that. Yeah, and then go back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have to run it first to get it in the computer.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing your screen. Yeah, I didn't emphasize that. Yeah, finally. Yeah, thank you. So let me see. Yeah, so even though we have the code on the screen, but we need to run it, and then it'll be processed and stay in the so-called memory of the computer. Yeah, believe it or not, we also call that memory for the computer. So, otherwise, it's just like a book. The computer, it's have the hand in the computer, but it still has not the grasper in his brain or memory. So what this means, I guess I skipped this part. What this means, this equal sign is also means assignment. Actually, many of you are science or math teachers. So this is not a mathematical equal sign. This is really an assignment. It basically says, there's a list called 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put into a place in the computer memory. My 1, 2, 3. But once we put in the computer memory, we need to have an address. But how do we call that address? We need to have a name, or in this case, we call it a variable name, my list. Otherwise, we are going to just throw a record in somewhere, but we have no way to retrieve it. And if I just type, in fact, let me just do this example. If I just say a list, say 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, there's a list, but it's not in the computer memory because I didn't assign it to an address. It just execute. There's nothing. It's just like the computer didn't remember this. If I want the computer to remember this, I need to put in the number. In this case, I'll say her list. And then if I call her list again, it is there. Otherwise, it's not even there. So, in fact, let's do this exercise. I can even delete this from the memory. I can delete this, her list. This is a bit, right now, I'm just showing this. If I say her list again, it's going to give me an error, say it's not, cannot find it. Yeah. So that's actually pretty neat. I mean, we also have some unpleasant thing in our brain, but we just cannot forget. But computer can do this. You can just delete it from the computer memory. So there's her list. I delete it and then try it again. It's not there. If I delete his list, if I delete his list, and then I try to run his list again, it's going to give me an error. Yeah, it won't find it anymore. So, but for now, I'm going to remove that. That's the. Otherwise, that's really confusing. So, but now that we are in this assignment, I'll just go and try to show why we need to assign that to a variable. So, okay, so. Okay, so now we are doing the indexing. With the list, we can indexing, but how do we indexing more than one element? That's actually, in Python, we can do this. A starting number and colon J to another number. So my list, okay, so I'm going to print my list first, and then pick 1 colon 3. So my list is 1, 2, 3, but $1.3 is actually 2. Okay, this is really a bit confusing. I'm going to put my list into something else, so make it easier to explain. My list equal A. Okay, this may be a less confusing. So my list is A, B, C, D. That's the A, B, C, D top. So I pick my list. I want to pick the indexing 2 colon to 3. It only print B and C. What do you think this is? Why? So the question is, oh, I'm actually putting up a question in the Socratic. So the question is, why is it? Can you explain? What do you think? What Python is doing here? Indexing 1 colon 3, it only output B and C. What do you think Python is doing here?
Sir, I was trying to name, creating my list. And I got a name error as well. Well, if I share, do you think you can
Okay,
my
let me
error.
stop sharing. Can you share your screen?
Yep.
Oh,
I tried one list and just to be different
yes.
than you with caps, and that
Can
didn't
you
work.
move your mouse to A? My list. Can double click on that? Double click on that list.
This list here?
No. To the bottom, the red one. You
Here?
have an
Okay.
arrow. Yeah, and double click on that. Move your mouse to A.
Okay.
Put you see the arrow is already there, and the name A is not defined. It's actually if you don't put the quotation sign around a name, is actually think it is a variable, not an input.
Okay.
You need to put a quote on left hand side and quote on the right hand on the A.
On the A
If you
itself?
put a single quote is not paired, it will have an
Yeah.
error. So quote.
Like
And then
this?
B and C, you also need to quote them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's still an error. Let's see. No,
This
there's no
is
error.
from a different list. I should delete that. I don't know how, but
No. The lower one, you type my the capital
yeah,
uppercase.
that was me trying a separate list.
Oh, I see.
That I
And
adjusted, so I need to type in a new
when you're
thing.
indexing that, you need to use a square bracket, not a smooth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the line 11. You type the smooth parenthesis, not the square. On your line 11.
Oh yes. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this needs to be square.
That should be a square bracket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's the little things, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the computer language is dumb. Yeah. So I mean, human have a few typo. We can guess what the meaning is, but the computer cannot.
There we go. Okay, I got you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, I appreciate you sharing the screen. So, okay. So, okay. So we are. Let me see. We are still on the slicing. It's like a fraction. 1, 2, 3. Oh, excellent. So this is actually a perfect answer. Showing between, this is also kind of correct, between the first and the third letter. So, yeah. So Python is the so-called weird thing is called, Python is often ending exclusive. For reasons I do not understand, but that's just the Python language. Python is often ending exclusive. I guess this is often, to me, this is often look like some French or German word has some little dot on top of it. I do not understand why they do that, but Python just do this. It 1 colon 3, that 3 is not inclusive. That's just the way Python is. The way I understand it is just the Python language as it is. So I didn't design the Python language. That's just the way it is. So yeah. So I guess people who design the Python must have good reason for that. But it is very unique. Many other languages doesn't do this, but Python does this. So if you use other language like Java, C++, C#, or Alice, even those languages, they don't do this, but Python apparently does this. 1 colon 3, what it really does, only pick 1 and 2. 3 is not included. Whoever designed this want to make his choice perpetuated in the Python language. Here it is. So yeah. So yeah, it's really hard to change this once it is there. So okay. So if we want to pick, if we really want to pick 3, we actually need to put 4 there. So if you want to make sure index 3, the last one, you actually have to put 4 there. So there. So let's see whether that's correct or not. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So notice 4 is actually not even there. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 actually will be outside. But you have to put 4 there actually just to pick the 3. Well, there's another way. Let's try. You can actually just doesn't put anything. It's going to finish all the way through. So 1 colon, nothing. It's also going all the way through. So that's another way to do it. But if actually, if I say 1 plus 1, oh, actually nothing, because 1 is the last one, nothing good. So it seems to make sense, but that's also include the first one. So it's personally, I really don't like this, but there's really nothing I can do about this. So so actually at the bottom we already had that list. So yeah, A, B, C, D, okay. So we can also do this. Actually, oh, in this case, I need to put my list. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if my list is 1, 2, 3, 4, we can actually do something really look a bit smart. Is 5 in this list or not? What do you think this is? False. It actually can tell 5 is not in that list. Is 2 in this list or not? 2. So you can try this on your. This is actually pretty neat. This actually is one of the good features in Python. This is not this feature I do not recall in Java or C++. Only in some advanced feature you will see that. But in Python, this is the part of the feature of the list. So this is very neat. This is also, by the way, Python is actually the most popular programming language now. I guess if you Google, you can find out what's the most popular computer language. Python in recent years is the most popular computer language. There are many reasons why Python is a popular computer program, and this notebook interactive programming. Actually, there's another thing called data science, which is actually what we are going to do. We are going to use Python to analyze COVID-19 data. Python is the most popular language for web programming, dynamic programming, data science, and also what called machine learning and artificial intelligence. And part of the reason is because Python has some very neat features, things like this. And if this is Java or C++, you probably have to write 5 or 6 lines of code to do the same thing. But in Python, you can just use this one line, say 2 in my list. Is it true or not? It's false. So this is one of the things Python is become really handy. So we can also see the length of the list. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 numbers there. So this is actually kind of a neat, but this is popular feature in many other languages as well. So that's the list. There's another data type called string. That's basically is characters. I already start to use some of this like here. So in Python or many other language, we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.5, those numbers. But we often have a word. In fact, Word document is probably one of the largest data we have to process. Those are, in computer, we call it characters. Each letter, we call it a character. And more than one character, we often call that strings. So strings is also a common data type in many other languages like C++, C, Java, C#, R, MATLAB, or even Mathematica if you use it. Those are all called strings. But Python string is also unique. It has some built-in features many other languages do not have. So this is the Python string. So string can be single quote or double quote, but the quote always has to be matched. If it's a left quote, there has to be a right quote to match it. Otherwise, you will have a syntax error. So in this case, you have string. The first string is some text. The second string is some other text. Now in Python string is very neat. We can treat that string almost as if it is a list. So if I say string 3, string 1, 3, that means number 3. Actually not number 3, index 3. That's actually number 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes, number 4 is E, letter E. So string 5 to the end of it, that's text. So is that correct? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 5 is T, goes all the way to the end. That's text. So that's the string. So and we can also do this kind of thing. This is also unique in Python. Many other languages doesn't do this. So we can actually use mathematical operator addition to add the string. So string 1, string 2 is actually some text plus some other text. This is really, so let's try something else. Oops, I added a text. I should add a code. Yeah. So I'm going to say hello plus. Oops. Hello and Chattanooga, we put them together, but apparently I forgot to put some space there. So plus space. Chattanooga. Okay, so we can actually just put the space in Chattanooga. I should also work. Okay, hello Chattanooga. so you can actually, this actually makes it a very convenient when we are doing the program. We want to make some output, give some user information. And we can actually even do this. We don't have to, if I say, hello, 1, 2, 3. There, the hello, we don't even have to assign it to a variable. That string itself is a variable by itself. So is that 1 is E, 2 is L, 3 is also L, but 3 is not included, so it's EL. So yeah, so this is a really neat in Python. I do not recall this in other language, but that says there are some new language. If you follow, some of you might follow. There is a new language called what? Julia. Is actually contain many features of Python, but with even other more features. Yeah, the computer language all have this kind of a very interesting name. Python if you Google Python, usually you get the animal, the big picture, the big animal Python. You have to, but I don't know why Java is the coffee name, Python is the animal name, Julia obviously is the girl's name. So unfortunately, I guess most of the computer language are developed by males working in a room. Not so bored when they work on something, they wish to come out some name to show how cool they are, I guess. So Java, Python, Julia, that's the name that the people, this software engineer can come up with. So this is this is the word. So okay. So we can take a 5 minutes break, then come back. Is that okay? It looks like some of you are distracted a little bit. So, yeah. So I'm going to pause this. Let me see. Say, come back at what? 11:15. How about this? We come back at 11:15. Oh, by the way, Miss Man, can you stay? Go to break room number 1. Can you go to breakout room number 1? Okay. I'll see everyone in 11:15. Thank you.